Well, hi everyone, and welcome back. And I'm with Officer Craig Harmon of the Highway Patrol, and we're at the unit right here in Amador County. And Craig, tell us about winter driving coming up.
It's coming, huh? It is coming. Just a good idea now, before the rain and the storms hit us and the snow, to go out and do a walk around your car. Check your tires, make sure they're mud and snow. Check your spares, make sure they're good. Check your chains. Now's the time, during the time change, that's when I always throw chains into my car because it helps me remember. But it's a good idea to check those in the garage when your hands are warm to make sure they still fit, make sure that the binders are still good, they're not going to break, and just kind of remind you of how to put them on, because it's a whole different story when you're on the side of the road, crouching in the snow, trying to put these things on if you haven't done it for a while. So it's a good time to do it then. As I brought up earlier, anytime you take a trip, make sure you let people know where you're going, check the websites, make sure the traffic and the road weather conditions are good. Take some food, or take a woman with you, because they always have food. That's a plus, right?
Okay, so
my wife always has food. So, but do a walk around your car with the change of season. Make sure everything's good. Make sure your wipers are good, and your washer stuff is good, and all that other stuff. Just a simple precaution. Make you start thinking about it.
Yeah, and so of course you're totally right there. Now, chains. There's places where people will chain up for you. But
sometimes.
Not around here.
Yeah, not always around here. I haven't seen it very much here. On the major Highway 80, Highway 50, things like that, they'll have the chain monkeys out.
Right.
In the past, when things have gotten real bad with a lot of snow, they'll have crews come in. But normally we don't have them here. And normally CHP doesn't sit on the chain control sites either. So you're going to have to know when they flip the signs what R1, R2, R3 mean. And R1 is just that there's snow on the road and you have to have mud or snow tires on. The other part of that is that you also have to have chains with you in case it changes, like to R2, where chains are required, or four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive don't have to have chains on, but they have to have them with them. And then R3 is when they close it. Pretty much four-wheel drive and chains, but normally we close the road when it gets to that point.
And when it gets to that point,
you don't want to be there.
Right.
But the thing, people get confused, and all-wheel drive is the same as four-wheel drive, but you still have to have chains with you in case it goes to R3, so you can chain up.
Okay, now usually when people have chains on and they're driving, in the snow, they're usually slowed down.
Yes.
Because of the chains feel like they're going to maybe fall off the wheels and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, and there's a speed limit. It depends on where you're at. They'll have a posted speed limit of either 15 or 25 miles an hour. And you really don't want to be going 55 miles an hour with chains, because they could come off, damage your car. Right. Grab brakes, tear brake lines, things like that. So you really don't want to go over 25.
And I guess what I was trying to point out or trying to get to is like if you have a four-wheel drive truck or something like that, and you might, well, this guy's going so slow and everything, cut him some slack.
Oh yeah. And the other thing too is if you put your chains on the front, say it's a front-wheel drive, you can really feel those through the steering column, and so you're going to want to go slower. So if you put them on the back, if it's a four-wheel drive or something, you don't feel them as much. But also keep that in mind too. We've had people put chains on the rear wheels of a front-wheel drive. It happens, yeah.
Okay.
So know your car enough to know what you're putting.
And it's a good thing to know the thing, because the turning into the skid or not turning in the skid, depending on front wheel or rear wheel drive.
That changes everything.
So be familiar with your vehicle. I'm not sure where you practice slides at. Are you?
Well,
maybe in the very beginning. When I always take off, test the road, test the brakes, feel like what it feels like, hear the crunchiness.
Right.
Watch. The really good thing to me, one of the most important things I think they ever put on a car was the temperature, the outside temperature sensor.
Right.
Because that gives you a lot of information.
I like to drive with my windows down too, so I can hear how the snow is crunching under the tires.
Right.
And I can hear when I'm sliding.
Right. You can hear when it's breaking down. Okay. And a few of us just have driveways that are, you only need chains for the driveways.
Yes, I'm one of those.
Okay. But have those ready and checked out and everything. And there's probably some good tire stores that you could go to that would help you out there too and show you how to do things as well.
Definitely.
Okay. Now,
we also recommend, before we move off from the tires, studded snow tires. Starting November, you can run with studded snow tires up here, and I really recommend it because black ice and things like that occur when there's no snow on the ground, but these cold mornings, which we haven't had yet, but they're coming. So it's a good idea. That's an option.
Right, a lot of that. I've never tried those.
We put them on the patrol cars. I love them.
Okay, and they would come in handy because in the upcountry there's a lot of those.
There's some dark corners.
There's corners that just stay dark, and if they were wet.
And it's cold enough.
Right, and luckily I don't get into all that too much. Okay, now the Start Smart Driving program.
Yes, we're starting that up again. That's at the office. We haven't set a date for it yet. I'm hoping that people will start calling us with interest in it. It's for new drivers, provisional licensees, and their parents to learn about mostly what it is, to let the parents know what their financial liability is with a new teen driving, and some of the issues they're going to be facing. And we have it at the office usually just a couple hours. And if people want to call the office, with the phone number is 209-223-4890, and give us their name and phone number, we'll let them know. Once we get enough people together, we'll do a class at the office there.
Okay. Now, what is the biggest impediment to teen drivers?
Oh, distractions.
Okay.
Distractions. And that would be for us too, but we've got enough time in driving that we can do more than one thing at a time. New drivers, they have a hard time driving and doing anything else. That's why there's the laws with no electronic equipment in the car, no other teenagers in the car, things like that, no distractions, because they need, in that first year at least, to be just concentrating on what's going on down the road.
Yeah, and it is
it's serious business.
right. It is, and I guess after a while, you get a lot better. But in the beginning, you're usually so happy, all your friends are happy that they're in the car and you're having such a good time. It feels like celebration time.
You don't need the encouragement.
Yeah, so right, to have everybody,
So anyway, my understanding is that the court, they'll offer this if a teen gets a ticket. This will be an option, either that or traffic school. Traffic school, I think, is $50. This is free.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll drum up some business for us.
Drinking and driving.
Drinking and driving, always pushing drinking and driving. The holidays are upon us. Celebrate or designate before you celebrate. I remember when I worked the road, especially in San Jose and Los Angeles, that the holidays were the best time to be working the roads graveyard, because that's when you got all the drunks.
Yeah, and stuff must be working, all of these programs, because as you said, a lot of it is down.
It is working.
So arrests are down.
Arrests are down, and that's what we're after. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's fun to make arrests, but this impacts in life. Yeah, and it can really impact it seriously. I mean, we had some very serious collisions with almost fatals, and some fatals because of DUI, and it just doesn't have to happen.
Oh yeah, you combined that and speeding.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a new speed grant coming around.
I was getting to that. So tell us about the new funds.
The new the federal government's given us some money for enforcement of speed, wrong way drivers is a big killer, and unsafe turning movements.
Wow.
I didn't think
wrong way drivers.
Wrong way drivers, and so they make up in 2011. This are old stats that we're working off of. Made up for 1,100 fatals. Those three things.
Now, are those the ones that wind up on the freeway on the wrong way?
On the wrong way,
yeah.
And lots of times that has to do with DUI or other drugs or things like that. So, and then besides the fatals, besides 1,100 fatals, there was over 164,000 injuries that went along with that. And so the whole goal of the grant is to drop that by 5%.
Okay, what's a tactic you think you guys are going to use?
Well,
your eyeballs?
The eyeballs, and to be out on the road and to be seen. We call it showing the door. Okay. They'll also have more DUI checkpoints and things like that. But the grant money will go probably towards things like extra overtime put out for DUI enforcement at night, for the DUI checkpoints, for speed teams to go out and things like that.
Okay. Now, do you have to advertise DUI checkpoints?
You don't have to anymore. We still do. We advertise when it is and where it is, because it's not just an enforcement thing. We don't want to trick people into it. We want to catch them. We want to get them off the road. But it's also it's very educational. That's why we always hand out things, flyers about DUI. We talk to the people, things like that. So it's also educational. And I'm okay when we do them and we don't get any DUIs. But there are times when we go and we get 9 or 11.
Yeah.
And that's with advertising it. And so these are the people who are sharing the road with you, and we've told everyone we're doing it, and they still show up.
Yeah,
and it's well marked. I don't know if you've ever been to one. They're well marked.
The reason why I kind of brought that up, it seemed like I heard before that they're well marked. They leave an area for you to get out of it if you see one.
You have to have an escape route.
If you're conscious enough, I guess you say like, oh, I think maybe I'll turn off here.
Right.
And something like that. And
there's a sign that'll say.
So I think there's rules, in other words, for how you set them up.
Definitely. Okay. Definitely. Yeah, you have to provide an escape route.
I always figured you probably have somebody watching that person who's turning around.
You mean Hoffman?
Wherever it would be.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But, no.
Okay, the answer to that question was no. I'm not sure what the question was.
All right. You were asking if we have someone sitting on the escape route. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, we have to provide escape route. That's part of it.
Okay. And
otherwise it'd be entrapment.
It doesn't seem like it would be entrapment. I mean,
I know, but that's-
I don't quite get it, but,
Yeah.
but okay. All right, now, anything else that's important? You've got 1 minute.
1 minute. Always, if you have any questions about anything, especially provisional licensees, the drivers, the new drivers on their first year, please come contact us, because there's a lot of bad info out there about, when they can drive, when they can't drive. If they live up country and they're not happy with the transportation, then they could drive their siblings to school. That is not true. It's also not true that if they work late, past, like say 11 o'clock or so, that they can drive because,
So
they're
you're
working.
trying to tell the parents at the same time, probably listen, because some of the things
Some of the things well, the
that
basic
you're
thing-
hearing might not be true.
They may not be true. So the gal at the school your friend at school may be wrong. So please ask us. Our office is always open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they can always come by and have a visit and ask the questions.
And
We're
you're
very
and
approachable.
there actually are some of our best friends on the road.
There you go.
Trust me.
Thank you.
California Highway Patrol.
Hoorah.
And hoorah. All right. And thanks for watching TSPN's News. Be safe. Remember, be safe on the road. It's serious out there.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.